How you doing?
Thank you very much, Scott. Let me know, everybody, if you can hear me okay, and if you can see my desktop. I'm just displaying a single slide of a presentation right now. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Samuel. Alain, appreciate it, everybody. So again, my name is Brad Williams, one of the managing partners here at Trade Ideas. It's Wednesday. This is a real interactive webinar. I'm going to spend about the first 30 minutes going through the product, showing you some of the features and functions of it, what you can do with it, what makes us incredibly special, in my opinion. And I'll reserve the last half hour for questions from the audience. So if you have any questions on what we do here at Trade Ideas, why our technology is so incredible, please, feel free to ask. This is your webinar. We do webinars Monday through Thursday, but this is one that we reserve most of the time for questions. So let's get going. First off, the disclaimer: Trade Ideas, we are an incredible software company. We are not a registered investment advisor. If you're looking for investment advice, seek out a registered investment advisor for that. This presentation today, I'm going to be mentioning symbols, but please do not construe that as symbols for recommendation. All right, so simple presentation today. This is mostly a walk through our software and showing you some of the functionality that we have here and why it can really help you in trading. But we've been doing this. We've been running Trade Ideas for about 15 years now. We've been offering our product to the public for 14 years. And when we initially did this in 2002, we have not stopped since. We've been innovating, adding to our product. What we started with 14 or 15 years ago was a single alert window. I think people would consider Trade Ideas right now a platform, if you will. And while it's a full-featured platform, it does integrate and link with a variety of different brokerage brokerage tools, whether it's something like Thinkorswim or any of the Power E-Trade, Scottrade. You see a symbol inside of Trade Ideas, you can click on that symbol and update that brokerage platform with all the relevant data. So let's just get going right here. This is a view of a layout. This really is just, I included this because it shows the different windows that we've added to Trade Ideas over the years. In the upper right-hand corner, this is our alert window. This is what was our flagship window, what we came to market with, an event-based window that lets our users know when a stock is doing something interesting, whether it's making a new high, crossing support, an inordinate amount away from VWAP. All these different ideas we're generating and providing to you in an alert window. But we've got a bunch of other visualization windows that assist you in finding these pockets of opportunity in the marketplace. The window with a T in the upper left-hand corner is our top list window. This is a ranked list of stocks based on the filtering that's in the window, and it provides you a real-time list of what's happening right now with this particular view. And each view can be completely customized and differentiated. This happens to be a volume view, but you can be looking at how much a stock has moved over 5 minutes, over an hour, over the day, what's its range for that. There's an infinite number of different scenarios that can be crafted with this software. Another great window that we put together is a multi-strategy window. It's really an idea window where you can drop in any number of different alert strategies and have them all generated in a single window container. So it really saves the real estate because it's so important when you're trading. You only have a constrained amount of space to use for your brokerage platform, your charting, your idea generation, and this gives you a really nice use of that real estate. I've got about 20 different strategies all in this single container. The price alerts, this is one of our premium features. This is an incredible addition to the suite of tools at Trade Ideas. The price alerts allow you to go onto our chart visually and just right-click and set up a notification. So when a symbol is crossing a visual threshold, it's going to give you that notification. So you can basically, you don't have to watch 30, 40, 50, 100 different charts at any time. It's thinking for you in the background, and when something happens, it's going to generate that idea for you. The compare count window. This is another visualization window that we have inside of the platform that lets you pit two different strategies against each other. It can be something simple like I have here, which is looking at stocks that are making new highs and comparing that to stocks that are making new lows. And it's really looking at the velocity of occurrences of that. In this situation here, it's a bearish market where 60% of the signals coming through are stocks making new lows opposed to the 40% making new highs. And that's a pretty significant difference. We have the channel bar. The channel bar is something that we added about 2 years ago, which gives our users the ability to kind of hit the ground running, if you will. We've done a lot of pre-configuration in these different channels that are all looking at different themes. And so when you click on a pre-market theme, for instance, a group of windows are going to appear that have all been customized to look at the stock market from a pre-market perspective, what may be gapping up or gapping down, or what is moving inordinately in the pre-market, what may have more volume than normal in the pre-market. So the channel bar has been a great addition, and all these different themes can be stuff like volume, price action, gaps, or even particular groups of stocks like the defense sector or Chinese stocks or whatever may be in favor at the time, biotechs. Things like that. We added charting a little over a year ago to the platform. Single stock window, the ability to do a deep dive into a stock and look at the data points that Trade Ideas offers. Now, Trade Ideas, we do offer the basic data points like the change from the close and the last and the volume, but what really makes Trade Ideas special are the data points that are very unique to Trade Ideas, the data that we create on the fly. So what we do in San Diego, we have a data center where we're connected to all the different exchanges. We're connected to NASDAQ and NYSE and Amex and Oprah for options and StockTwits for social data, Edgar for fundamental data, just all these different sources that aggregate at our data center in San Diego. And as that data is coming in, the real sophistication of Trade Ideas, if you will, is what we do with that data in real time at our data center with our databases. And it's taking that generic market data and creating new, unique forms of data, like I said, in real time. And an example of that might be this relative volume right here. So relative volume is a data point special just to Trade Ideas. It's a ratio, if you will. So a stock like ADK that's trading 2.31 relative volume is really trading 231% of its normal volume at that point in time. So when this screenshot was taken, it's 2.3 times its normal volume, but VII is trading 37 times normal volume. CALI, which is a huge mover today, up and down, was trading 186. I mean, these are huge, really significant numbers, and that's what Trade Ideas is doing, is it's mining this big data in real time, finding these pockets of opportunity, these statistically interesting events that you can profit from in the marketplace. So that's this particular view here, and I'll get into the software and manipulate it for you and show you some techniques, but I hope that you have some questions along the way for that. So let's go to the next one here. This is the Oddsmaker. This is part of the premium subscription, and what you can do with an alert window, the event window that we have, is you can go ahead and do a back test of it. It's what we call event-based back testing, where you create a strategy in an alert window, an event and the filters that you want, and you hypothetically ask the computer, how would you have done if you would have bought or sold, whatever your preference is when you're running it, each instance of a signal that was generated in this window, and then held it for a predefined amount of time, implemented profit target and stop losses, and adhered to that. And if you were to do that over the course of a period of time, how would you do? And this event-based backtesting, we've kind of morphed it into what you see today with respect to the AI, because Holly, the AI, uses this technology to refine the strategies every day. And I'll talk more about the AI as we get into that. But this was the initial technology that we developed that allows you to create a strategy and see exactly how that strategy would perform. So this right here is our AI. This is the end of the day, and I had a few minutes earlier in the day where I grabbed a video, and I'm going to play it. It's not anything that has audio to it, but I'll be able to talk through it, and it'll kind of show you, because I get these questions all the time, especially in the webinar. What does this look like during the market? You know, what am I looking at, and how am I making these decisions in real time? You know, this is something that happened after the fact, and hindsight's 20/20. It's always easy to go through this and see, you know, how you would have done, but in real time, and I'll show you that as well. Another additional tool that we've recently added is called Brokerage Plus. Now, Brokerage Plus is super cool because this allows you to take any strategy inside of Trade Ideas that you are backtesting from an alert window and go ahead and automate it. So anytime a signal is triggered in that window, it'll automatically, right now we're linking up with Interactive Brokers for this type of automation, but it has the ability to, when that signal is generated in the alert window, it'll automatically fire that order off and manage it for you. So from a time stop perspective, a profit target, and a stop loss. And another little piece of functionality inside of the Brokerage Plus allows you to right click on any Trade Ideas window and instantly send that symbol to the Brokerage Plus tool for execution. So that's something that's new. This is also a premium feature inside of Trade Ideas, and my understanding is that right now it's in beta. When we pull this out of beta, there will be an additional fee for it. So people that are using it and are early adopters of it do get the benefit of not having to pay that fee. So people that are premium subscribers and using it prior to the release will get the benefit of that. So before I kind of close the presentation and open up the software, I just want to briefly talk about the Trade Ideas free trading room. Barry's in here right now answering questions. I don't know if he's fired any off, but Barry's moderating this room during the market hours. And it's a fantastic room because it's a sharing of ideas. Barry's a really fine trader, but it's really a group of people that come together that all use the Trade Ideas technology to, it's a super engaging room. There's an incredible number of profitable ideas that are offered out every single day. And whether the market's going up or the market's going down, these group of traders are really mining trade ideas for the great opportunities. And it's just it's something that I would recommend everybody take a look at. It may not be for everybody, but I really do recommend that you go there, especially if you're considering Trade Ideas, because what it does is it allows you to see in real time how people in real life use this tool. People that are putting their money on the line and trading and using these signals to profit in the marketplace. So let's go ahead and close out the presentation here. So we're about a quarter into it. I'm going to spend about 15 minutes kind of going through the software here. And then we'll kind of open it up for some questions. So hope that works for everybody. We're starting off right now on the social media channel. You can tell which channel is engaged by the icon being on. And the social media channel is a really interesting channel because what we're doing here is we're looking, every one of these windows is looking at a social media metric. It's looking at how much is a stock being talked about right now and comparing it to how it's normally being talked about. It's what we do with all of these data points where we get a hold of it. We create statistical baselines where we know what normal behavior is on all the different time frames. So in this case, how much is a stock being talked about each day, we know that. So when something really starts to get talked about, it fires up right here in this window. And this stock right here was just being talked about 151,000 times normal. So it's just a huge thing. And oftentimes we find that volume really runs in parity with social volume. So the stock's volume and social volume, but sometimes we find that people start talking about it and the chatter is prevalent before it really hits the tape, if you will. So a lot of times we find the early leading indicator right here in this stock to its relative activity. And that's the social channel. And just like all of these channels, there are a variety of different windows conveying different information, although everything is linked. So when I clicked on something, the charts will update, and I've got multiple time frames. I can adjust the chart compression. I can zoom in, I can zoom out. You know, here's an interesting one because this stock right here, while it had tremendous volume today, it didn't really trade a whole lot previously, and you can see really intermittent. And when it really started lighting up, put in a great day today. What a huge percentage move for a stock like that. A lot of people, when they're going to a variety of channels, they're cycling through these different results and they're taking a look on the chart. And when it's on the chart, you can make a decision whether you want to set a price alert or not. I can see that I have a price alert set right here with that red dashed line. And if I wanted to set a price alert for the high of the day in this stock right here, all I need to do is right click on it, and I'm going to create the price alert right here. If I want to put a note, I can do that. I found that typically I don't put as many notes as I used to put. I used to be really detailed, but now when I get a signal generating in that price alert window, I'm just clicking on it and I'm looking at the chart and making that assessment right then and there. So I found that it's not as important for me to put those notes in, but everybody's a little bit different. So once you save that, you can see that line right there is ready. It's ready for that stock to cross it, and as soon as it does, I'm going to have a pop-up window letting me know that that threshold had been crossed. So we've got the bullish indicators here and the bearish indicators here, really just looking at the change for the day for the sentiment of the stock. But manipulating these windows, one of the great things about the top list, right now I've got the sort order and change over 5 minutes percentage. You know, how much has that stock moved over the last 5 minutes? But I could change any of these sort orders, and that's how people use the top list windows to do that. Maybe I want to look at stocks that are on their 20-day high. And I can do that by sorting here on the 20-day high, stocks that have the largest revenue over the last year, stocks that happen to be on their high of the day at this time right now that I'm looking at it. So that's how you would manipulate a top list window. And then over here on the single stock, this profile here, I can click that and I can get a good quick description of what's that stock, what does that company do? Take a look at exactly where it trades, what exchange to trade on, and then what sector, subsector, industry group, or sub-industry group does it fall in. And then I've got my streaming window down below, just giving me some additional information. So let me blow it up a little bit. These are just events. It's looking at the social media volume and giving me that signal when something inordinate happens. And then people use this by maybe selecting the pre-market at the beginning of the day to see the stocks that are gapping up or gapping down or moving on high volume. This volume channel is a great channel because it shows some great iterations of what we're able to do with our top list window. So this is a top list window, and every window is free floating. You can move it around and arrange it however you'd like. And so this top list window right here is kind of slicing and dicing volume on a variety of different time frames. So I'm looking at it on a 5-minute time frame, a 30-minute time frame, cumulative throughout the day, all of those. And I'm also looking at here with a little bit of price action. Again, my sort order is change over 5-minute percentage, but if I just wanted to see what stocks have traded the most over the last 5 minutes compared to normal, right? So not like, something like Apple or something that just trades a tremendous amount. This is taking a look at that relative action. So that's really important. It's that relative action that we find gives us the ability to find great opportunities really, really quickly. So let me just go through a couple more channels here. This Trade the Gap is a new channel. So if you don't see that on your channel bar, I would recommend you refreshing it. Easy way to refresh the channel bar is just find some white space here. You right click and you select refresh. And when you do that, it'll go to our server, make sure that you have the most up-to-date channels here. And the Trade the Gap is nice because it's looking at stocks that have gapped up like you would see here in your pre-market channel, but it's now then taking another view of what's happening after that gap. Is it continuing to increase or is it going back down? Did it gap up or gap down with that movement associated with it? So it's a pretty interesting stream of events. And I'll show you here what a lot of people do when they see a channel like this and they like a particular window. They'll just grab that window, they'll pull it out, and they'll right click on it and select pinned. And when you do that, now that window is not going to disappear when I go to another channel. So let's say I go to the Alpha Predator channel. I have my Alpha Predator channel here, but I still have that window. And that gap window I may want to watch through the day in addition to whatever I'm cycling through with respect to my channel bar. So I'll point out here something that's pretty interesting on the Alpha channel, Alpha Predator channel, if you haven't had an opportunity to notice. I've taken this Alpha Predator window, it's a top list window, and I turned it into a streaming window. So I've got the same filters in both of these windows, but one window is going to be updating and flashing changes updating every 30 seconds. And the other window is going to be giving me a chronological view of what's moving pertinent to the filters that I have set up. So subscribers, take a look at this channel and notice these two windows. These are windows that I've happened to have pulled out to keep on my, I have a 6 window surround that I have around my channel bar. So let me go ahead and pull that in, and I'll share that with everybody if you guys would like it. Some of these are windows that we've offered out before. Some have been modified a little bit, but let me close these. I'm going to go to my cloud, and I've got something here called 6 pinned surround windows. So I'm going to go ahead and load that. And what I have here is I have these windows that are surrounding my channel. So now I could cycle between my channels and look at the different views of the market, but I'm going to keep these windows consistent. So I'm going to drop this in the chat right now. I'm going to go back to my cloud, and this is how you would share something. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm just going to go to share. It's going to give me this cloud link, select copy all, and now if I can find our chat. So I'm going to call it the 6 window surround, and I just put it in there. So you should see that in the GoToMeeting chat. Subscribers can go ahead and copy that link. When you copy that link and you open up the cloud window, that link is going to automatically be pasted in the bottom right here, and you can select load. It'll go ahead and load it up. Be forewarned, folks, these windows are pinned, right? So because they're pinned, if I was to go back and load these 6 surround windows, I'm going to load them on top of this, and then I'm going to have 12 windows. So people that have pinned windows, it's important that you know that they're pinned so that you manage them appropriately. But that pinned functionality is great because it allows you to really cycle through a group of windows, but keep something consistent in your layout. So let's go to the Holly AI channel right here. It's a little wider than the other channels. And then let me explain what we're looking at, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the video. I'm going to be pretty quick on it. I'm not going to, it's an 8-minute video, but I'm just going to kind of cycle to a couple of points so that you can see it happening in real time. So during the time, it's actually, ironically enough, I obviously had no idea what the market was going to do today and whether it was going to roll over like this, but I happened to grab a little bit of this snippet right here as the AI was putting on some good positive positions, and it was in this particular time frame on the S&P, or on the spiders. So let me go ahead and dig that up, pop it over here. This should come out okay for everybody. So to start off, let's just go ahead and hit play. And to start off, I'm just going to be cycling through. This is just showing you how everything is linked up here. I'm using one of my 6 surround windows. But now I'm going to kind of cycle through the different positions. These are the open positions in the AI. I'm going to set a quick price alert, and then I'm going to go back into the open positions. When a position is initiated from the AI, it's going to appear in this window right here. And I have a couple of instances where it does, so I'll show you kind of the workflow that's happening as we do that. But right now, it's just really kind of scanning through, setting price alerts, and this is kind of the 1-2 punch, if you will, with respect to using the AI and the price alerts. The AI gives incredible signals, but it's not always at the exact time of that breakout. A lot of times you're going to see it generate a signal and you'll see the stock continue to go, but other times it'll meander for a little bit, and then it'll go ahead and make that accelerated move. What it's doing is it's finding these footprints, these little setups that are happening, that it finds an opportunity. And while it may not look like it visually to the naked eye, it sees an inordinate amount of volume or price action or something that indicates something interesting is happening. So just completing the cycle right here, going through the different signals and making sure I've got price alerts set, because this is a real 1-2 punch that I like to do. So we're about 1:30 in right here. Let's go to 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's just fast forward a little bit, and we'll let it kind of creep in here. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see a new position pop in here in a couple seconds, and it's going to appear over here. Pretty evident when it happens. There's an audible signal that goes off, so you would have heard ADMP, and then it does this flashing green that'll degrade back into its black background. So when that signal appears, you can make the choice to pull it up, take a look at it. I'm kind of cycling through the different views of the chart, kind of compressing and expanding to kind of see where the support and resistance lies on that. So I set a price alert. This was a stock that we had just gotten out of because of a profit save. It's an algorithm that when a stock moves up and it comes back a certain percentage from that up move, it's going to get you out, because like in the real world, you don't want to see a winning trade turn to a losing trade. So that's what it looks like when you're getting a signal in the AI. Let's go to another section right here. So let's go to 640 here, and this is where I received a price alert. So I received a price alert off screen on my other monitor, and I selected it, and you can see it just triggered right here. When you set a price alert, it's going to be red, letting you know that it's waiting for it to happen. But once it's triggered, it'll turn green. And then if you wanted to reset it, you could just click on it and move it a little bit, and it'll reset that price point. But this is an interesting signal right there, and I think that did pan out to be a nice opportunity. I think that trade went up $1 after it broke through that, or at least another 70 cents, but I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what happened. So let me find another thing here at 750. So let me show you what a price alert looks like when it gets generated. So this is the price alert window. And you can have this in a customized view. You can have it set up only to look at your triggered signals or just your working signals or a combination, but we're tracking. So here, just as I was getting ready to close it, here was a price alert that triggered. You can see it's not as interesting on the intraday, but you can see where that resistance lies here on the daily, and it just breached that particular signal. Okay, so let me close that. A couple more things. In this QA session here, I like to kind of talk about what's new, what we're doing with the platform, some of the things that we're adding. So one of the things that we're adding here, if I go to new, and I'm going to go to my alert window, and I'm going to go to my search tab, and this is where we have all of our alerts and all of our filters. We have hundreds of different alerts and filters, and using different combination really gives you, it's not infinite, but it's pretty darn close to it, number of combinations that you can put in here. So we have a below high. So we have a filter here called below high. This is a filter that lets us know how far the stock is below its high of the day. Well, we're adding a filter, and it should be in the next week or so, that's going to give us the pre-market high and the pre-market low values. So we're going to be able to generate signals when in real time during the regular market session, stocks breach the pre-market high or the pre-market low. So that'll be a nice addition to the software. So I promised you guys 30 minutes after I'd take some questions. I have more stuff to show, and I'll show you the Oddsmaker, some other things, but let me kind of look through this question panel here and see if there's anything that I can get to. I know that Barry and Scott have been answering some stuff. So there's a question here, can I plug in WCFT? And you can just go ahead and type a symbol into the single stock window or type it onto the chart to take a look at the data points that we have relative to that particular symbol, or look at the visual reference. With respect to the data points on the single stock window, I mentioned earlier that it's a configurable window. Just like any of the other tools, you can decide which filters, and these are all the different filters we have, which filters you want to have visible inside of this particular component of the tool. Okay. So here's a question from Don. How does relative volume compare to today's volume percentage? So today's volume percentage is taking a look at what the average volume is for a stock during the day. So maybe that is 1 million, the average volume for a stock. Well, today's volume percentage is going to be 100% when that stock has reached 1 million shares. Just one way to look at volume. A lot different than the relative volume column, like this high volume movers right here, which is looking at the stock's volume right now at this point in time and comparing it to normal. So I'm not looking at that million threshold. I'm looking at what's normal for that stock. It may do a million at the end of the day, but what's normal for it at 8 a.m. On Pacific time. So, you know, it's very specific to the time of day. So that's how those two differ. So I have a question about using Trade Ideas Premium on a MacBook. So we have that. We do not have a native Mac application available, but this does work in a couple of different ways. So I would suggest the web version, but the premium does not have some of the functionality. The web version doesn't have some of the premium functionality, price alerts, or AI. But with respect to using the downloadable, this can be done either through a virtualization tool such as Parallels or VMware, or there's a new tool out called Crossovers, and they've done a great job. We've been working with them a little bit, and while it's not 100% perfect, it's a $50 product that you buy. You don't need to buy Windows. Your computer doesn't need to have the Windows overhead, which is really probably, I guess, the biggest complaint that people use that use the visualization tool. There's a little bit of Windows overhead, and nobody likes that. But that Crossovers tool has the Windows tools or the Windows components inside that allow it to work, and it's pretty slick. So that would be probably my recommendation. So are there any statistics on which of the Holly alerts perform the best? Let me do this. Let me talk a little bit about how Holly works and the optimization routine that takes place every day. So we have about 40 different strategies that Holly is looking at after the market every single day. And after the market closes, what the AI does is it goes through each of these 40 strategies. It uses the Oddsmaker technology, and it hypothesizes how would this strategy have done if I manipulated this filter, or this filter and that filter, or this filter, that filter, and that filter, or just this filter. I mean, there's so many different possibilities. That's why the Oddsmaker is so powerful, but it's so hard for a human to really get the most out of it because you're continuing to run different scenarios. Well, our computer is doing this simultaneously, so it's really effectively running millions of trades on all these different strategies to find how it should best configure it, which filters it should use and the values that it should use. And it does this every single day. So the reason why I'm telling you this, and as it's relating to that question, the quarterback strategy that existed today in the market, or at least in this AI, while it is the same concept of the quarterback strategy that may have been used 2 weeks ago, there are most likely subtle differences in that because the AI is in control of the different filters that is being used in the strategy. So let me get back to what's happening as we're going through and crunching this and optimizing each strategy. After that's done, and that happens probably till about 1 o'clock in the morning my time, once that's done, it then looks at a variety of different statistics on every one of those strategies. What's the profit factor? What's the win percentage? What's the average winner to average loser? Looks at those and then makes a determination which strategies are going to be present the next day for the users to view, and which strategies are going to be available to generate signals. And this is what we were presented with today. I'm not in control of it. There's nobody at Trade Ideas that is in control of what strategies are populating here. This is all done automatically, and it's something that we're really proud of because we took what we knew from a perspective of how to manipulate the Oddsmaker to get the most out of it and really put our computers on that task. So this is something that's always getting better, and it's something that's really made an incredible difference in Trade Ideas and how the public perceives this tool. We've, from a subscription perspective and a growth perspective, we've had much more business over the last year from a growth perspective than the previous time period. And we've done incredibly well. We've had some really nice enterprise relationships, but the growth rate that's happened over the last year is phenomenal. And we do attribute a lot of that to this AI because the AI has been very, very successful. Let me pull up a web page here that might indicate and give you guys an idea Actually, let me do it over here. It's going to give us a view of the profitability of the AI. So it's going to go ahead and crunch this for a little bit, and as soon as that comes in, I'll bring it back over, and let me look for some more questions here. So Brian's asking a question about, can you place your order from TI directly through TradeStation or IB by simply right-clicking? Does it set a stop and exit too? So the answer to that question, Brian, is yes for IB only. With respect to TradeStation, we have what we call external linking. And external linking allows you to set up the windows in TradeStation that Trade Ideas will link with. So you click on a symbol, it'll update our charts, but it'll also update the TradeStation charts and the TradeStation order entry panel, and then you can send that order. But with respect to IB, you can go ahead and right-click and send that trade. Now let me open up my Brokerage Plus here real quick. Now in Brokerage Plus, by default, I have some strategies already set up, and those strategies are really meant for that right-click. So when you right-click and you hover over Trade GV, I've got these. If I was connected, these would be highlighted, but I'd be able to send an order here, 5,000 at market, $5,000 at the last price, and the question was, can it send a stop and a profit target with that? So the answer is yes, and you can set that up here when you're defining that strategy. If you right-click and you go to Edit Trading Strategy, this is where you can have it set up to automatically put in, let's say, a smart stop or a 50-cent stop, and put your target in there as well, so that when you do send that order, that stop will be in there. And in the most recent version, which isn't yet out, if you were to modify that position, let's say you were to get into the position here using this right-click menu, and you went to IB and you sold out of some of that position, the remaining orders inside of Brokerage Plus will automatically get adjusted accordingly. So that functionality will be in the next release that'll be available to the public probably in the next couple days. So look for that. All right, let me take a look. So Lindsay's asking about hotkeys. Right now, we do not have any hotkeys to make buying and selling easier. I think that's what she's probably talking about. So Brian wants to see some of the trades from Holly and how they worked out today. I can do that. Wasn't a great day in the AI today, but let's go through and take a look at some of these here. So I'm going to go ahead and sort this here on, let's do it on the entry time. That way we can take a look kind of in the order how it was going. So let's start off with PRCP. So PRCP gave us a signal right here, 858 from the strategy wake up. Oh, I did that in the wrong sort order. So let's go back. There we go. So now we're going to start off here with the first one. This is Fred, and let me get a different zoom factor here so you can see what happened. Now notice the annotations over here on the right hand side. They're going to be different colors. Green's going to let you know where the last price was, and so that's a post-market tick right there. The blue is going to let you know where the entry price was, so that's going to reflect the entry price here. This thing had a really nice move. It did go up to 1343, so that did give you a nice little pop. We got out on the profit save on that pullback, and we got out, what, 13 minutes later, 12 minutes later? Yeah, so we got out on that pullback right there, and we keep track of different metrics in this. So this is our closed position view. The risk off profit is where we got out of that. We got out of that at the profit save. We got out of it at 657. Some other metrics are showing you what the risk on profit, and that's taking you all the way to the end of the day. So if you were to hold that position from the inception, you would have lost 55 cents on it. Now, one of the things that we do with all of the signals that are generated using the AI is everything is generated with a stop loss in there. So if that stop loss has been triggered, it's something that we don't recommend you sticking with and looking at. But we're giving you these two different data points because we find that the market, when it turns around, it's really interesting to take a look at some of these signals as they're crossing their original threshold. And when they cross that original threshold, it then presents itself another opportunity. So that's one of the reasons why we keep these different metrics on here. So let's take a look at the next one. This was from the strategy wake-up call. This is another great, I mean, this was a good one. It didn't, you know, if you look at it at the end of the day, it doesn't really tell the full story. This is a stock that we got in at 554. It moved up and we got out on the pullback, and we got out pretty quick. So we didn't stay in it too terribly long, but this stock did get up to $6.12, which is a huge percentage move. So there was tremendous opportunity there. LVNTA, this was one that was in the video where we were setting that price alert. That price alert crossed and probably right at this point right here. So this was a great opportunity here. We got in at 51.07, yet this thing was trading, you know, at 52 and change for a period of time. GV, I don't think there was much that happened in this particular trade today. Didn't look incredibly appealing to me on the daily chart. Now, Cara didn't work out initially. I think we took a reduced risk. We got in right here, and the stock traded down a little bit and didn't perform the way that it thought it would perform. So it got out on a reduced risk, but having a little more staying power would have provided an exit that could have been profitable for that. Not much has happened in this one here. Again, I don't know that I like the daily. When I see something that's been beaten up like this, I like to see a little bit more confirmation that the turnaround has taken place. It's almost better to give up 10 cents here to know, or to have a much more confident feeling that the stock is on its way back up. THO, this one didn't work out over the long term, but I think we're looking at kind of the same type of setup here. And if you look at what the strategy is, the strategy is telling you it's on support. You know, when that support gets broken, there's no need to continue to be in something like this. So while if you were to hold it to the end of the market, $1.98 would be your loss, that's not what you should have done with a signal like this. And that's one of the reasons why we haven't allowed this to be fully automated yet, because this is an idea stream. It's an idea stream that has the odds in your favor, but it's just that. It still takes some critical analysis to take that signal and decide what you want to do with it. Another one of the great reasons why I think going into the room and listening to Barry, and you know, Barry does a nice job of calling these out. He's we're not just keeping this to ourselves. I mean, when a signal is generated, you may not get the immediate notification in the trading room, but Barry will call it out, and he'll be very upfront with telling you whether this is something that's appealing to him or not. And by no means is because it may not be appealing to him should you not consider it, but everybody needs to develop their own style, and you need to be able to pull something up on a chart and make an assessment and determination whether this is something that would be right for you. CVS, this was an interesting opportunity. It doesn't look like it here. We did get a little bit on a profit save, but it did go up, you know, from 77.12 to 77.50. This move was a pretty strong move in the market on the spiders today, and it really did push a lot of it up with it. When we started to break down, when the market turned a little bit, this is where I like to see exactly what the stocks do in relationship to that market turn. And when we started to go back up, nothing seemed to be going. It just didn't look like that type of action was taking place. Now, this was all because of the Fed announcement, but so who knows, right? The future is not written and nobody knows. And all you can do is take some educated guesses and put some statistics and numbers in your favor. I think this may have come in. Can't quite get to the web page here. So this right here, let me go ahead and change it to, you gotta be kidding me. Trust me. All right, I'll see if I can get this before the presentation's over. Obviously that didn't work very well. Let me take a few more questions here. So Andrew's asking if we can be alerted on your phone, for example. So they are computer based, but I do have a little bit of tech that allows us to do SMS notifications. Ah, there we go. Okay. So this right here, let me change it to risk off. So this is going to give us our risk off scenario. And this is the benchmark S&P, or the spiders. This is going back to the beginning of 2016. So this is a 15 months data that we're looking at. If you were to look at risk on, this is how the risk on is. So this is if you're taking the signals that Holly generates and holding those till the end of the day, how would you do compared to the spiders? So, the question, I'm sorry. The question was about SMS. So let me go to our web page. So to get to the trading room, by the way, right up here at the top, live room, you'll want to check that out. So let's go to the support tab, the support button, and we'll go to account management and email SMS settings. So I would recommend, perhaps, if you have any questions here and you're not able to get it from the instructions that we've put on this page, send us an email and we can help you with it. It's not the most intuitive thing, but once it's set up, let me log out of this one and let me log into this account. So this account happens to have some set up, and I get these all the time. This is this breaking out on volume is a great strategy that I get. And yeah, I get this emailed to me every day. And so this is how a sample of how you would set it up. You drop your collaboration link in here, put a couple of codes here, and we explain what those codes are depending on how you want that email to look to you. And then when you get that, you can click, there's a link in there, you can click on it and it'll open up the browser version of Trade Ideas, so you can see a streaming alert window that's the strategy that you had generated. So Bruce is asking a question about pattern recognition. We do yes and no. So we do pattern recognition. I have some out of the box pattern recognition alerts that we have. So let me just type in pattern. Well, I'd hope I'd have more than those. So I'm not finding it through that search, but let me go ahead and scroll down and you'll see some of the different pattern recognition that we have. We'll get to them here in a second. So pattern recognition from a candle perspective, we can look at different candle types: bullish engulfing, bearish engulfing, piercing. So that's single candles, but then we also have some geometric patterns. Let me scroll up a little bit here. Right here, broadening bottom, broadening top, triangle bottom, double bottom, double top, head and shoulders. So that would consider those some of our pattern recognition alerts. All right, I'm just looking at some more questions here. So Nigel's asking if Holly identifies news associated with price movement. Holly is not looking at news. Holly is exclusively looking at the data points that we're getting from the exchanges. Price action, volume action, does look at fundamental data. So it looks at that. So linking to the TradeStation charts. Don, send me an email and I can help you. I don't have TradeStation up right now. It should be pretty easy because what we've done, let me see if I can find it here. I believe we've redone this TradeStation option right here. And the best way that we found with respect to linking to TradeStation has a symbol field in their toolbar, if I recall correctly, up at the top. So you should be able to drop drop this shift key right in the symbol field on the toolbar of TradeStation, and then use the color-coded linking inside of TradeStation to link everything, all the other windows. So you should only need to link with a single window to get them all to work. So to change the settings in the Oddsmaker. Yeah, so let me do this. Let me kill this right here. This is a Holly. I'll give this strategy out. This is an interesting one because I've been experimenting with a lot of different types of setups, and this right here is something unique because it's looking at the symbols that Holly has generated over the last 3 months. Yeah, no. So since the beginning of 2017, I created a symbol list that has all of the Holly symbols in it. And this is a strategy just looking at that particular list of symbols. So there are a good couple hundred symbols in there. Probably, yeah, at least a couple hundred symbols. This is the setup. It's looking for something that might be crossing above a resistance level, has all of these different filters in it. Just a lot of different filters. It's not really important what they are. And let's go ahead and do the back test. So I'm just going to run the back test. This right here is where we tell it the set of instructions. When do I want to initiate a position? So I'm avoiding the first 15 minutes of the market, and I'm not trading after 9:30, or I'm not initiating a position after 9:30. And now I'm telling it that I only want to hold it for 60 minutes. When the signal's generated here, only hold it for 60 minutes. And a profit target, set it at $1. And I guess use a stop loss of $1. That doesn't make good sense to me. I'm going to use a smart stop. That might be better. And let's test the last 30 days. We could go up to the last 64. These are trading days, so 64 days is a quarter. And let's run it. So now we're presented with some data, right? This is the profit factor. That's the sum total of all the winning trades over the sum total of all the losing trades. The number of trades in this sample set. So over the last 30 days, it generated 218 signals, of which 65% were winning trades. This is the average winner to loser ratio. This is your return. And then you can manipulate some of the data points. If I'm starting, let's say, with $30,000, I can do that. Trading $10,000 increments, I'm not going to be able to do this in a 4-to-1 margin, so it's giving me a red indication here. But let's say I trade $5,000 increments. Now I can do it. I can do that with 3-to-1 buying power. If I have 4-to-1, I have more than enough. And you can decide, do you want it to be share size, dollar size, commission, you can adjust that. Maybe you're paying more in commissions. Maybe your slippage, you're losing 4 pennies in and 4 pennies out. Maybe you're able to get the price that was generated on the alert window. So this is how you would manipulate it. But, well, then you also have a calendar heat map. So if you select any of the days, you can see exactly what signals generated, how much you would have made or lost, where you got in. And since I'm doing $5,000 per transaction, it's letting me know how many shares for that particular trade. But the real power of this thing all lies here in the optimization area. And this is where you can go through and you can, let's change this price interval here to $5. So now I'm going to break it down into $5 intervals, and I can see how many trades were in this $10 to $15 bucket. How did I do? Was I profitable? Was I not profitable? Then we take that same statistical analysis and we let you look at the time of day. How successful were you trading? Let's break it into 5-minute intervals. How were you in the first 5 minutes, the next 5 minutes? Maybe break that into 15-minute intervals and see how you did. But the power is really in the filters, because we have all these filters that are in trade ideas. And you can go through this and you can take a look and say this has already been optimized, so there's not going to be a lot of visual here. But the interesting thing is, like, let's say that $10 range, anything above $8 for a 10-day range just showed 37%, 28%, 20%. So it's telling you that, boy, you weren't very successful when the 10-day range was greater than $8. That's just one thing. And, then you can go to the percentage. Maybe anything over 20% didn't show up very well. Well, that's not the case here. But so this is the analysis that you do, and you cycle through the different filters and take a look. In this particular case, not that I'd want to make the adjustment, but because it's only one trade, but on the 2-minute RSI, the 2-minute RSI was above 80. This trade didn't win. And you can drill into it and you can see that this stock, the 2-minute RSI was 84.54 on this scenario right here, where this stock, you know, CYBR triggered at this price here. This is where we got out. It was a loss. And so you get all that information, and you can use these buckets right here to determine where you should apply some filters. When you're doing this for the first time, there's a great chance you go into something like the 120-minute range percentage, and you're going to find that if something was, you know, trading a huge range, it might not have been doing so good. Or maybe the change over the last 15 minutes percentage, stocks that were down for the, you know, over the last 15 minutes weren't great candidates for it. So that's the kind of information that it conveys here. So I hope that answered your question on the Oddsmaker. So DEMA, risk on and risk off. I think I touched it, but just so that you know, every one of these strategies goes into it with a time stop. So when a trade is triggered off of the on support strategy, 60 minutes later, it's going to get you out of that position. And that is your risk off profit. Where it tells you to get out, that's your risk off. It was to stop you out, that's where it's your risk off. If you got out on a profit save, that is your risk off. But if you were to hold it to the end of the day, that is your risk on. It's a great indication of volatility and follow through. It's something following through. When you start to see that the risk on is greater than the risk off, you're going to notice that there's follow through in the market. And you may want to be more aggressive. You may want to hold your positions longer. You know, that's the kind of information that it's conveying. Yes, Mike, I will share Holly's optimized breakouts. So let me save and share this to my cloud. It was already there, so I didn't need to do that, but let's copy it and so guys, you should see another cloud link in the chat. This is Holly's optimized breakouts that I just showed you right here. So we're getting close here. We've done about an hour. So guys, I've kind of lost track on the above questions. So if I didn't get to them, shoot me something new here and I will look for some more questions. I'm going to bring Scott on in just a couple minutes. So this is kind of like the final call for questions. You can always send me an email or send anybody at our support team an email at info@trade-ideas.com. I'll have a slide on that. My email is brad@trade-ideas.com. So Amar, you're asking for a feature request. Send it to our email, info@trade-ideas. I look at every one of them and consider them all. He's asking for an additional voice. We have a female voice, and I think he wants a male voice or vice versa. But Amar, send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to consider it and take a look at it. All right, going once, going twice. All right, Scott, hopefully I didn't close the presentation down.
Yeah, no problem. That was a very excited audience today. Something that we're happy to announce, and we're going to be putting in a lot of extra time next week about is the test drive. We're inviting everyone who's not yet a premium subscriber, and this includes standard subscribers or those of you that are not yet Trade Ideas subscribers at all, just to try out the premium service. There's a nominal fee associated with it, but that covers a combination of costs that we accrue during these kind of tests. We get a lot of people trying our stuff. It covers our exchange fees that we have to pay the exchanges, as well as the added customer service overload, because we're having extra webinars, extra people on call all the time. But you get 5 full days of premium Trade Ideas. It starts April 10th. So if you start on the 10th, you get it through the 17th because there's a holiday that Friday during the week. And it's a great thing to try. Also, you get access on Friday afternoon, this Friday, I think it's the 7th, right? Friday the 7th, yeah. After the close, if you're signed up in advance, it's kind of a nice little way for you to get used to the software, load it, install it, make sure you can log in. So we're giving everyone that's already signed up for the test drive premium access this Friday after the close, and then you'll have access through Monday the 17th. But we are allowing people to sign up through Wednesday the 12th. So if you have friends that haven't signed up yet next week, you should have them sign up. They'll still get 5 full days of access. So if they sign up, say, for example, next Wednesday, they'll have it for 5 full days. So that'll be Wednesday, Thursday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday again. Trade-ideas.com/test drive is where to go. Go ahead and sign up for that. We're going to have special webinars all week long as well. So stay tuned. We have a podcast, and we launched in December. Audience has been growing. Go ahead and search for Trade Ideas Podcast in whatever application you use to listen to the podcast in. You should find it there. If you don't, let us know. I think there's one I need to work on getting us resubmitted to, but we're in most of the major ones. So, yeah, do that. We're going to have, I think Dan's out of town, so I think it's probably going to be Steve Gomez and guest this Friday. I will let everyone know as soon as we get closer to that time. The podcasts are released on Fridays, usually about an hour after the close, and then you have it for the weekend to listen to. They're fun and interesting. We have a code that's good during the month to save. Just use the code the way you see it on the screen there, all caps, yes to Holly, and that'll save you 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. And of course, both standard and premium include a full hour of one-on-one training with one of our educators. It could be Jamie Hodge, Steve Gomez, or Andy Lindloff. You can even choose when you decide to sign up for the training. After you've become a subscriber and kick the tires a little bit, watch some videos, attended the trading room, then you should go ahead and get that training. Go ahead to support, click on training, sign up. Then by that time, you'll have some questions that I'm sure you want to spend some time on. You can also download a PDF. Click on handouts on the handouts panel and you go to webinar interface and expand that. You get a PDF with these cards. And thanks everyone for attending. The recording will be up later tonight or tomorrow morning, and you get an email by tomorrow afternoon with a reminder of where to find it. Email info@trade-ideas.com if you have any questions or need any support. That's the best help line for you. And you can also reach out to Brad directly, brad@trade-ideas.com, or follow Dan Merkin on Twitter @TradeIdeas1, or just @TradeIdeas is the corporate account. Facebook.com/TradeIdeasPro is where to find us on Facebook. We post some different stuff there sometimes, so go ahead and follow us there, and then you can share it with your friends. And the 619 phone number is a great resource during business hours for billing questions, but if you have a question about using Trade Ideas or strategies, best place is info@trade-ideas.com, because we can route that to the correct team member to get you the best answer as quickly as we can. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Brad. Thank you, Don.
One quick question. There's one here that kind of floated through. Dan's asking about the possibility of prorated refund if one cancels before the end of the year. I think the answer is no, but maybe you want to correct me.
There's a billing policy. If you look at the footer on trade-ideas.com and scroll down to the bottom, click on billing. There is a cancellation policy, but it is not prorated. We don't get involved in prorating. But thanks, everyone. Thank you for your time, and we'll have the recording up tonight or tomorrow.
Thanks, Scott.